Hello friends, this is Prakash here. In the previous videos, we have seen how a decision tree algorithm works. We have reviewed the basics, and also we have seen a very basic example. Now, in this video, we will understand the math intuition behind it. So we will consider a slightly more practical use case, right? What I'm showing on the screen is an example of a decision tree that is built from something called as iris dataset. So iris flower dataset is a dataset that is basically used for classification problems, right? This is about classifying the iris flowers into one of the three categories, right? So the way this dataset works is this has got different features about these iris flowers, like the sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. And then using these input data, we want to classify them into one of these three categories. So they basically have categories like setosa, versicolor, and there's one more like virginica, right? So these are the three output classes. So we're trying to predict, given with these input data, the sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width, we want to predict the species, right? But when we train the machine learning algorithm, we will train with this data using the species also, right? We will train using the output also. So the algorithm learns with this data and it will build a tree, right? So the way the tree comes out is something of this sort, right? So once it learns and it builds a decisive tree on how it can determine what the actual species is, then we can feed this algorithm a real-time data, and then using that real-time data, for that real-time data, that it will predict what is the output class. So that is the basic view about the decision trees. Now, if we take a closer look at this tree, right? So it has, like we have seen, it started with the root node, and then it went through multiple decisive branches, and it ended up on different colored nodes as we're seeing. So the more deeper we are getting, we are ending up in one sure category. Like in this case, look at the leaf node here. This is a versicolor category. Now, in order to determine that this category is a versicolor, it has taken different paths based on different conditions, right? And likewise, it is, what are the conditions that it starts with? So it starts with taking some of these features. So it might start with, let us say, petal length. It has taken a condition here from the root node. First, it wants to subdivide the data into multiple smaller divisions, but with higher information gain. So what I mean by that is, initially, if you see here the root node, let's observe the root node here. The root node here has got 150 categories. Out of these 150 categories, it has got all three categories of the flowers, like setosa, virginica, and versicolor. All three categories of flowers are there here, 50 each, right? And then it will further try to see if I consider petal length and divide that categories, or divide the flowers, divide the samples based on this condition. Let's say petal length is less than or equal to 2.45. So if the petal length is less than or equal to 2.45, very clearly it will classify them into this particular node. In this node, all the flowers with petal length less than 2.45 will come here. And as you can see, there are only 50 such flowers, and all 50 of them are setosa. So that means this particular condition is clearly leading to one clear decision for classifying it to one category. Now, if the petal length, if for any of the sample the petal length is not less than 2.45, then we will end up in this node where we will have 100 flowers, right? Out of the 150, 50 have gone here and 100 have gone here. Now, in this 100, it will then take the next condition. Now, how will it take the condition? It will take the same category, the same feature that it has taken earlier, which is petal length, or it will take a different feature, and it will come up with different conditions based on the threshold. It will only determine thresholds. Now, how will it determine the features? How will it determine the thresholds? Now, that forms the crux of how decision tree works, right? Decision tree measures the condition efficiency. If I take this condition and if I split them into two different nodes, will I be able to gain any better classification mechanism here, right? Or if I divide by petal width, will the purity will improve. Let's say if I have instead of petal length here, if I taken petal width and use this condition, would I have gained something like a clear decision like what I did here in for setosa, right? It may be possible or it may not be possible. So the more the number of features and the more the number of output categories, the combinations of these experiments will rise, right? And each experiment will lead to different types of results, and all we want is better results, better classification, and faster classification. So you want to go in an efficient manner. So that's where the math intuition comes into picture, right? We need to understand some mathematical statistical concepts here, and if I split by this, what is the probability that I can have a clear categorization, or if I split by another condition or another feature, what is the probability? So based on those probability values, the algorithm picks which is the right which is the right condition and which is the right feature. So that's how it goes about it, right? So in this video we look at what kind of such mathematical measurements are there which these algorithms rely on. And then we will go forward with practical implementation. We will in fact take the same example and we will do the implementation of this in Python, right? So let's now look at some of the math concepts behind this. So let me switch to the keynote.